Hey, Skiba News Nation family, please make sure you like, subscribe, and share with others so we can grow the biggest truth-seeking community on the internet. Also, huge shout out to all of our Patreons. It's because of you guys we're able to do what we do. And if you want some extra content, please go to patreon.com/Skiba News Nation. We love you guys.
Welcome to Skiba News Nation, bringing you unfiltered views, news, interviews, discussions, and more. And now, here's your host, Jeremiah Skiba, award-winning musician and son of Rob Skiba.
With the son of the legendary Rob Skiba, Jeremiah Skiba, what's up?
With my great and insightful co-host, Mr. Jake Grant.
Dude, someone should do conspiracy news. It would be 10 times better than what you see on television.
It's like I don't even want to wake up.
He's on a quest for truth.
Hey, Skiba News Nation family, welcome to episode 162 of Skiba News Nation, your weekly source of the latest news, controversial topics, conspiracies, forgotten history, and so much more. I'm your host, Jeremiah Skiba, and here's my co-host, Jake Grant, who helped me paint this beautiful wall behind me. A great, beautiful wall, quite frankly, the most beautiful wall I've ever seen. I'll have stuff, as I did before, just, as I call it, shit, just going up everywhere because that's my life. So how are you doing, Jake?
Doing all right. Considering the circumstances, it's been a heavy week for Skiba News Nation.
Yep. Opa believed in a lot of things, but he believed the show must always go on. Even when he was in the hospital, he would make sure that I would be here so that I could do the show. There's nothing he wanted more than to watch us do our show. So even though I might be broken up at some moments, please be understanding that, we're going through a lot, but we're carrying on. So you got some good current news for me today?
Yeah, we got some really interesting stories. So let's crack through it. And we also have a very special surprise. Please excuse my sense of humor, I hear.
We'll see.
All right. Well, let's get into it, guys.
Grant is on the way for Skiba News Nation. He brings the situation.
Now, this is a really interesting story, Jeremiah. You might have seen this going around, but it's a hiker who impaled himself on his walking stick at the top of a mountain.
Okay.
And what's funny about this is he was so concerned about the cost of insurance for getting a life flight off the top of a mountain that this man walked 10 miles down the side of a mountain fully impaled just so he wouldn't have to pay that extra cost of getting flighted out of there.
What a G. We got to have his picture up somewhere, maybe right next to Uncle Addie or Helen,
Yeah, this would be a guy to interview, bring him on and just be like, look, what kind of mental resilience.
Right. And the American healthcare system sucks so bad. And I've learned that firsthand. I mean, legend. He should be in the Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Oh, yeah. Now, we're going to crank through kind of a wide variety of stories here. There's been a whole lot. And, a few, I think last week, we covered how there was interesting reports off of the coast of Florida that there were these big plumes of water explosions. And there's an interesting event that took place just recently. There was a big earthquake in Japan. And Now, I don't remember this being a thing before, but apparently there's now earthquake mushroom clouds.
What?
So this followed the 7-point plus earthquake in Japan.
Definitely not an atomic bomb.
Now, exactly. You cannot tell me that doesn't look like a giant mushroom cloud from an atomic bomb. And after further investigation, after the earthquake, apparently it was I think a gas explosion at Aeon Mall in Kumamoto right after the quake. And I'm just looking at this thing and I'm like, man, is that really just a gas explosion? I mean, obviously that's the official narrative, but I haven't seen a gas explosion look like that big. That, I mean, it looks like the people are probably going through post-traumatic stress disorder from Nagasaki and Hiroshima looking at this thing in Japan.
Yeah, that would freak me out, especially about the past, you know?
Just yesterday, there was some protesters that stormed a stage, and it was during a presentation on these data centers, and engineers storm this stage and start protesting the use of the Amazon and the Amazon resources to supply these data centers. And you know it's a big deal when the data is transforming engineers into activists, because an engineer, they're number guys. Look at the title of the summit. AI for Good. Global Summit.
Oh, yeah. All for good. It's all for good. All
Well,
for
let's
one
hear
and
the
all for
truth.
good.
At least these engineers' truth.
KI benötigt Unmengen an Ressourcen, an Strom. Nur schon der Gebrauch der Schweiz ist verantwortlich für fast 10% des Stromverbrauches. Damit fallen die.
He's talking about Switzerland. Switzerland's 10% of their energy is going to the data centers right now.
Tech-Oligarchen. Klimakollaps weiter an.
Werner Vogel, shame on you! Shame on you! You're getting profits from the deaths of millions of Palestinian people, and you're sitting here as if you're trying to do.
Let's just say this guy's going, oh, I have a headache.
You know, like, I never understood the pro-Palestinian people thing, but as of recent, I kind of understand it. I watched this whole thing about Netanyahu yesterday and how he grew up in Philly. That's why he talks with an American accent. Things that most people don't know about Netanyahu, and how he invented the word terrorism. And it's very interesting that this man created all these things, has killed more people than Adolf Hitler, but yet we can't say that. Isn't that interesting?
It's very interesting. Obviously, it's not directly, it's through his policies, it's through his aggressive kind of expansionist.
Well, in his book, he takes credit for it. I mean, you could say the same thing about Adolf Hitler, that he didn't do all this stuff, but, you know, because of his policies and all of his other things, that people died. So,
wow. Well,
Netanyahu, love you.
It's interesting because Israel is in this ongoing race to become the center of AI infrastructure, just as other countries are really bolstering their AI infrastructure. One of the elements of building up the AI supermodels that's been deployed by Anthropic is it's not just a gold rush of intelligence, it's a rush to apparently collect physical books, scan them into digital copies, and then apparently destroy those physical copies. Anthropic is reportedly buying millions of physical books, scanning them, and then destroying as it trains its Claude AI models. And this is a hilarious meme that's hard to go around. Yeah. Anthropic in 2037, after finding out your grandma has a handwritten diary that you didn't scan and burn. Let's get him! Wow. Anthropic in 2037, after finding out your grandma has a handwritten diary that they didn't scan and burn. It's just so many varieties of this one. All right, boys. Time to get those books.
So for the dumb people like me, what are the books that they're trying to get?
So it seems to me that it's just physical documents, texts, books, narrations, scientific journals, college textbooks, all kinds of books. But why are they destroying them? Well, if you look at the videos of how they actually scan these books so quickly, is they take the big book, and this machine like cuts the back binder off of it, the back binding on it, and it just like scans the whole thing, because it's faster to destroy the text and scan it than it is to scan it and then try to preserve it in some way. And so they're so hungry for this gold rush of information found in textual books to train the model that they don't care. And it's just, what's the far end of this? And what's interesting is it reminds me of the book burning in Nazi Germany, you know, where they were burning all the pornography and the, you know, the things produced by certain sects of people that lived in the German state at that time. But, you know, it wasn't just pornography and stuff that they were burning all kinds of books in Nazi Germany. And so is the new Hitler AI?
It's a good question.
Hey, full circle. AI is now burning books. And the last time that another element of burnings that I remember being, you know, really a kind of a crazy scene is the burning of the Beatles music. And I think it's Rolling Stones and Beatles. There was like CD burning parties back in the 70s,
like
60s, and
yeah,
70s.
when they said they were more popular than Jesus, I think that's when they started getting bad press. Of course, you know, that's not the best thing to say. We're more popular than Jesus, but then they had that, you know, at the baseball game where they were exploding records and Death to Disco and all that stuff. It's crazy stuff, man.
The way that AI models are being trained, we've talked previously about how AI models are running out of data to train off of. This reverberating echo of information that was once human, and then an AI model trains off of it, and then another AI trains off of that AI that trained off of it, and then that creates this kind of representation of the art, the data, the spirit behind it that started with man. But then the farther away from the original iteration it gets, the more distorted and kind of, I'm trying to think of a word, but
dystopian.
Dystopian is the right word. Yes. The more dystopian it gets, because AI needs data to train off of. And as we build all these data centers, that's why they're now turning to textbooks that are not found online, perhaps, to train, because they need the real stuff to get back to the source so that their AI models are more accurate. They don't have these imagination, hallucination effects, because they're training off of just other AIs that have trained off of something else. This is fascinating. You know, we talked about, you know, in 2037, they're going to hunt you down for your grandma's handwritten journal, right? Well, how are they going to hunt you down? We just recently saw the Battle Bots, right? The first UFC, you know, full robot edition. And here's another thing just released from China, which is they've revealed an all-terrain robot. And this wheeled robot has crazy military potential. It's pretty freaky. Check out how fast it can traverse even the craziest terrain.
That's creepy.
Break up the side of a cliff. I'm coming for your book. I'm coming for your book. Right? Man. So, you know, the future of robotics has arrived, and it's moving faster than anyone could predict. You put a gun on this thing, and there's no place you can hide. You know what I mean? And it's
yeah, it's crazy. Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I'm gonna just dance it. They love to show how the robots can dance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wow, look at these three guys standing on it. because people are kind of wising up to how these could be used to exterminate mankind, pretty much. Obviously, they're trying to sell people on, hey, this could be your, hiking buddy. It'll carry your backpack
this could
up
be
the hill.
this could help you, if you're missing 411, like you just alert it and it would help you. Yeah, right. Okay.
There's always a carrot on the end of the stick. And there's been a lot of carrots dangling off of the stick of AI.
I mean, but throughout history, there have been things, I'm not trying to defend it, but there are things that have been used for good that could have been used, I mean, still to this day for bad, but, in the right hands, we just got to hope that it's in the right hands, but you never know.
I know we're a big fan of Mr. Father Star, but another man by the name of Wrangler Star, well-known kind of prepper, doomsday futurist, made a report on this advancement, this robot dog, on how to take him out. And this video could save your life one day, if it's coming after you in your books.
Battery and CPU are located approximately right here. The limb articulators are located at the top of the 4 limbs. I would recommend 62 grain green tip penetrators because they will be armor plated. If you don't have access to that, paintball will be effective in disabling the cameras. However, it's easily reversible. Another option will be to do a mix, 50-50 mix of old engine oil, oil-based paint, black, and a good dose of sand into a balloon. The sand will scratch up and gum up the works, and the paint will be very difficult to remove.
Preemptively getting ready for this great battle of Terminator against mankind. And one of the secrets he's given away is get a balloon, fill it with motor oil, and put sand in the motor oil. And when you splash it on these AI bots, it'll get into their gyros and gears and stuff, and it'll shred them from the inside out. And you don't want to cover up their AI cameras with paintballs. I mean, crazy, but pretty useful information if this thing's gonna be coming after my diary. You know what I mean?
Right. Him and Mr. Father Star are right on point. I mean, I feel like if you have Star at the end of your name, Ringo Starr, I mean, you're a legend instantly. So, good knowledge.
And just a shout out to Mr. Father Star. I would be very curious if he could make a video from his perspective on how to fight against Terminator. Like, how would Mr. Father Star fight Terminator? I would love to see that.
Well, I can make that happen for you.
Thank you for watching Skiba News Nation.
That would be most interesting.
So we'll see if he can do that before Sunday.
Now, let's check this out. Elon Musk has been making some pretty grandiose statements, and some people are becoming a little concerned with his mental state.
In 2036.
I'm not sure that the people who bought your shares think that money won't matter in 2036.
Well, what do you want money for? You want money for goods and services, right? You want money for, obviously, food, housing, transport, entertainment. Well, if that is so abundant that there's more, that the robots and AI are providing more goods and services than any human could possibly consume, what do you need money for in that case?
Let's agree that that could be where we end up. I'm concerned about the road, and we live in democracies, and people are very worried about this. So I guess 2 questions. Firstly, do you have to have massive redistribution from people like you to the people who are losing their jobs? Do you need to pay more tax? Do you have much higher taxes on capital so that you fund some kind of universal income? Otherwise, what do people live off?
I think that the Treasury should just simply issue people checks.
But where's the revenue coming from? I mean, I'm enough of an economist. If you just issue checks, you're going to have inflation.
This is like a lot of what we're trying to think about is these things were relevant in the past. They will not be relevant in the future. So like inflation is simply the ratio of money to goods and services. So if the goods and services output increases dramatically, if it increases, 1,000%, you can literally print, or these days change the database. It's not print money. It's you create money in the database, provided the creation of that money is less than the rate at which goods and services increase, you actually have deflation. So I'll make a prediction, which is that deflation will be the issue, not inflation. Because as the output of goods and services increases, if the output of goods and services increases faster than the money supply, you will have deflation.
I'm perfectly willing to believe that. You may well be right.
Statement of fact.
Absolutely, you may well be right. But I'm really hung up on how we get from the current polarized, angry, fearful polity we have now to this nirvana. And I think you can paint a picture where people are so scared by this, they essentially try to stop it. Maybe they can't, but you get nationalized. There's a kind of, far left government. There's exorbitant tax increases. The kind of economy crumbles because people are so worried about a future, which does sound quite scary as you describe it. So how do you handle the politics now?
It's exhilarating and terrifying.
But if you were in the, exactly.
So exhilarating and terrifying is this fun little carrot that Mr. Musk is offering in front of us all, dangling this aspect of that we will not ever need money again. We'll just get checks from the government because let AI be, this golden goose and all of mankind will benefit from it. And what do you think, Jeremiah?
I think he's very severely autistic, and I think he has a hard time explaining what he really means. And I know a lot of people, I don't know. I just know that what he's trying to say is probably not what is coming out correctly. But that's just my opinion.
Now, this is, of course, the positive side. And I want to start with Elon Musk's positive carrot before we show kind of the mental struggle he's going through, apparently. Check out this Russell Brand segment as he discusses how Elon Musk is not actually okay. And he has to dissociate himself with the fact that he knows he's building something that can destroy mankind. And check this out.
Elon Musk was recently in an interview and he said specifically, Russell, I have to live sometimes in a state of dysphoria because I know what I'm building will destroy humanity. A Navy SEAL spends 18 months getting ready for war. And I believe we are 18 months away from our world radically changing with artificial intelligence.
Why giving it 18 months?
There's a theory called the pendulum theory, and I would really encourage you to read up on it. I'll send you the info. And it basically says that every 40 years, there's a shift in the focus of the people from we to me. And if you've heard the phrase, hard times create strong men create good times. Good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. Well, the last time we were at the same point of this pendulum swing was 1945. And it was the height of a we movement, which you will see the greatest evil and the greatest good in the history in the last 80 to 90 years, which 80 to 90 years before that was the Civil War. 80 to 90 years before that was the Revolutionary War. This continues to proliferate. What we're coming up to is exactly 80 years past from the culmination of World War II. And so I believe that in the next 18 months, we're going to hit the height of the pendulum swing and we'll see the greatest evil and the greatest good the world has ever seen. And that AI is going to be, it is the battle for AI is becoming the deciding factor for the future of the world.
But yeah, I love that quote, hard times create strong men and strong men create good times. And then those good times create weak men. And then those weak men pave the road for hard times once again. And our society collectively is definitely there. Here's a funny video, kind of an analogy of what it looks like when liberals are taking the wheel. Oh no! Oh, I'm just gonna sign out too. Hopefully this is not how society crumbles, but this is the definition of weak people who are holding the wheel of society with all of their agendas, their political, leanings, and then one person crashes out, and then she forgets she's driving in the first place, and everybody crashes and burns, and it's
it's true, scary. Put your life in somebody else's hands.
All right, guys. Now moving on to some more like as of today. This is Wednesday, the 29th that we're recording this. Dr. Anthony Fauci showed up on Capitol Hill to once again testify on his handling of COVID-19. And there's this big diary of more than 1,100 pages that has been exposed, I guess. So it's very interesting how these hearings are going, considering what Fauci was writing in these diaries. And because not only is it this AI agenda, it's also the medical agenda that we saw starting to be really reinforced in 2020 with the pandemic. The death doctor has he's being kind of filleted in front of the world during these hearings.
All right, we begin the 8 a.m. hour on Fox and Friends with the Fox News Alert. Anthony Fauci just arriving on Capitol Hill.
There he is. I'm sure he's excited. In less than a half an hour, he's going to sit down and face the Senate Homeland Security Committee. They're going to ask him questions about COVID during 2020 and his response and what he said and all that other stuff.
Okay, and now here is during the hearing, and it's Dr. Fauci is fuming at Rand Paul.
He's shaking
for releasing his private diary entries because they're embarrassing and could contribute to his prosecution.
Over those 38 years, during and after the COVID pandemic, I have appeared multiple times for hearings in the Senate and the House, usually under oath, and sat for several days-long transcribed sworn interviews, answering questions about the very issues that are now the subject of this hearing. However, given Senator Paul's obvious obsession with calling for my prosecution, his repeated slanderous comments about me, and recently his publicly releasing my unredacted personal diary aimed at embarrassing and intimidating me, the only conclusion I can reach is that the sole reason he is calling me before this committee is to get me to say something, anything that could vindicate his repeated public pledges that I end up, in his words, quote, behind bars, unquote. Any reasonable person who has followed his unhinged obsession with me would readily come to the same conclusion. Therefore, although it pains me to do so,
NIH funded putting aborted babies' fingers and scalps off the heads of aborted babies and putting them into the backs of research mice. The scalps later grew fine baby hair in the mice. They even included those disgusting photos in their research paper that you funded. Not all of those were research on coronaviruses, but some were. Thankfully, the current NIH director has said, no more of this. Dr. Fauci, yes or no? Do you think that human aborted parts should be put into mice for coronavirus research?
the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment.
Really think about is the auto pen, because the most powerful thing a president has, they say, is the power of pardon. So he was pardoned by Biden, and I respect that. I know how powerful it is. It's a very powerful, they say it's literally the most powerful thing a president has. Now, whether or not I sign my things directly, always, almost everything I sign directly. You're witness to many of them. He signed very few. The only thing I know that he signed was Hunter Biden's pardon.
but I'm not sure that he signed. He probably didn't sign this one. So I can't tell you what the law is. I've heard that you have to have a lot of proof. You need to have letters. You need to have all sorts of things that the person operating the auto pen has to know exactly what it's all about. He didn't know what it was about because I saw him testify. So maybe there's something on the auto pen. Other than that, the power of pardon is very powerful.
And really, I think as the American populace is waking up, all the people that took the shot, the clot shot, are suffering, having these adverse effects. They're looking for the person to point their finger at and blame. And we've had our finger pointed at Fauci since the beginning, but apparently these documents that were revealed wrote that he was talking about how he was so excited about his notoriety and his fame, and less concerned about the impact on pushing his science on the world. And also this is paired with their effort to sequester away alternative methods and all the people that are suffering from these adverse effects. It's really to me, it's like we knew this, but it's only now in 2026 that kind of the more general populace is starting to go, oh, wait a second. Okay, we get what the conspiracy theorists were trying to warn us about this guy, years ago.
Yep. I mean, I hold him responsible for killing my dad and for killing my mom. I mean, if you look down the line, I mean, he did so much evil. It's just unmatched how much evil that guy has.
Yeah. There's a saying that when good men stand aside and do nothing, they become complacent in the evil that's that's happening in front of them. And at least, people like us, this YouTube channel, people like your dad, even from the onset of the pandemic, were speaking out about this. I mean, we were one of the few channels that were covering it. Of course, we had to censor ourselves so heavily, and it's just like, man, we're in truther world now, where it's now mainstream to point out.
We're in truther con.
Truther con. So several months ago, I stumbled across predictive history, Professor Zhang, and I really like this guy, and a lot of his game theory in analyzing the world war, on just the different elements moving. And I like him even more now, Jeremiah, and it's because I think he's a little bit more aware of some of the conspiracies that Rob taught about than I previously was aware. And now this is a quote, Professor Zhang going, now this is a extremely popular figure right now. People are looking for answers. They're looking for somebody who can connect all these dots, and this guy does it in a really interesting way. That's why I brought him.
Was he the smartest guy, quote unquote?
This is not the highest IQ, gentlemen. This is the guy that has the whiteboard that he describes in real time how nations operate as players in a game. And so by predicting the most efficient player move in the world stage, he's able to create a predictive pattern of history. And this is him on a podcast talking about he doesn't think we went to the moon. And especially in a figure like this who's so popular, it's really cool hearing him come out and be like, yeah, even like the Artemis mission was a act of theater, which, of course, we already are kind of very skeptical of anything revitalizing faith in the NASA missions and Apollo space programs. So check out what Professor Zhang here says.
Yeah, I think space is bullshit. I think we don't have the technology to get to the moon. I don't think there's any point in getting to the moon. And I think that China and America are working very closely to create this illusion of the space race. China gets a lot of technology and science from America. And, obviously China sees this as a way, as a form of national propaganda of trying to rally the people in a time of economic malaise. But I don't think they'll get back to the moon, okay? Yeah.
This is the lady that went to space, I'm assuming.
Yes. So this is one of the astronauts that went on the Artemis mission.
Yeah.
And she says something that causes her script that's playing to completely defunct, and she just goes blank for like an awkward amount of silence. And it's because I think she says something she wasn't supposed to say, which reinforces this element of distrusting the charade or the performance of these space missions. And if you think about the timing of the Artemis mission and world events, it's just like, oh yeah, everybody, look, we checked the box of all the flat earthers are, totally crazy. We totally can go to the moon. Look, we flew around the backside of it. We saw the moon's butt for the first time or whatever. And then we see things like this in their press conferences.
Honestly, what struck me wasn't necessarily just Earth. It was all the blackness around it.
What?
Earth was just this lifeboat hanging undisturbingly in the universe.
Uh-oh.
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 Shut it down.
So,
bye.
I may have not learned, I know I haven't learned everything that this journey has yet to teach me. But there's one new thing I know, and that is planet Earth, you are a crew. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so I'd like to get your comment on this, and like, because we saw this and we're covering it real time, but I've had a long-running theory that one of the motivations for the Apollo missions, and just now with the language she's using regarding the Artemis mission, was tied to the concept of maritime law. And for those who are like into the whole sovereign citizen and what does it mean, to serve the American government or be under the authority as our paper person by our birth certificate, all the kind of interesting kind of depth behind the identity of the corporate United States of America and how the world is ruled in this terminology of maritime law, which puts the judge as God. And the way that maritime law operates is the person in charge is treated much like the captain of a ship. And at sea, the captain of the ship is in a way treated like God on earth. The captain of the ship is treated like the ultimate authority, because when you're out at sea, the captain has all the responsibility of the life on his boat, on his vessel. And so he has the ultimate authority to pass judgment, to declare who lives, who dies, who gets to walk the plank. It goes way back to the maritime kind of topic of.
But they say a good captain should always go down with the ship, which is very interesting.
So this conspiracy of the application of maritime law versus common law is something we need to have far more thorough experts on to kind of explain, because I'm not an expert on this. But the language she's using, such as we went out and looked back and saw Earth as a vessel in a blackness of space. And oh, by the way, we together are all a crew on this vessel floating in the darkness of space. This is all reinforcing language to say whoever is the captain of this ship, the captain of this vessel, is basically God, right? This is and so it's just very interesting. It's something I pointed out with some of the language of the Apollo mission astronauts. I think it was Neil Armstrong turned around and has a famous quote saying, "I witnessed Earth hanging in as a vessel floating in a sea of space." And so this is the language that is part of this kind of weird magic-y Illuminati magician trick to justify their authority on Earth. Very interesting.
Well, I think it's interesting that at every level, like, okay, so at the funeral home, my cousin Monty was like, I want to be buried on the moon, And so he was talking, and the lady that was doing all of it said, we can make that happen. And she was talking about how you could have your ashes go up to space. And I said, oh, well, how many people have actually made it to the moon, like you claim? And she said, well, we've only done test missions and they've all gone wrong. Not with people not with, people on board, but every single one has failed. Is that not insane? I mean, and we're supposed to believe that they can go through the Van Allen radiation belt now? Why didn't they inform us that they were not, like, why wouldn't they tell us that they found all this, magic information, that we lost for so many years? Why are we just now going back? Doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. It's a great distraction. It's the theater that lulls American people to sleep. The timing, if you guys just in hindsight, it's easy to see how when this came out, it was like right alongside, I think the Super Bowl, April Fool's Day. A lot of psyops, dude. A lot of psyops. And speaking of psyops, we haven't covered this topic in quite some time, but just recently, Candace Owens dropped some never before seen video surveillance of the shooter that shot Charlie Kirk. Now, this is stuff that has not been seen by the public. This is the stuff that was kept from the public. It was shown only to the jury recently. Nobody got to see this footage when the assassination had first taken place. And as we look at the footage, it really does kind of bring a lot of questions regarding this topic of, was Charlie Kirk assassinated as the mainstream narrative would have us believe, or is the official narrative collapsing as this official footage, irregardless of how people view Candace and her really aggressive investigation into Charlie Kirk, there's some stuff that this footage really should point out to people that justifies this investigation. And let's check out what Candace just recently revealed.
And the footage is completely removed. So let's watch that.
I thought the gun was in his pants.
Yeah, how is he moving that fast?
Now, what happens next is exactly as my source stipulated. Our rooftop guy begins a tactical crawl. It's actually known in the military as a lateral crawl. Let's watch that.
How's he do this with a gun in his pants?
That's what I'm saying. Like, and that's not what he was wearing when he went up the stairs, allegedly. Looks like he's wearing all black.
And I actually do want to show you side by side so you can actually see a real military man do that alongside this person on the rooftop. Let's bring in that side by side clip. Here we go. That general action right there is known as a lateral crawl.
Almost identical look.
Now,
unless the gun was in his hand already,
but some sort of a flash that just took place, right? We're going to show you that slowed down and just kind of discuss this. We've gone back and forth here. What is that? Is he pulling something out? Is it like a signal mirror? Is it a flag? Was it already on Losey Center? Is it actually something that's in the background that's just catching weird? Is it a car? And we're just thinking that we see this flash, but we're just going to show you that so that it's clear. Back and forth flash there while he's military crawling. Here we go. There, and we're running that back and forth there. Okay, so you now have that. Next up, what you are going to see is that it's going to look as though, as he gets into position and completes this lateral crawl, that he thrusts something forward in a way that my brain told me it looked like he was unfolding a gun. Truly, that's what my brain told me. Maybe it's because I had this guy and told me about a fold AR. I don't know, but it's not definitive. That's me narrating. I'm happy for people to disagree and debate what is seen. But let's just watch that portion here. There we go. Something forward, and we can watch that again. Something forward again. But more importantly than what we see here is what we're not going to see here. So remember, this is supposed to be a German 98 Mauser family heirloom gun used during World War I and World War II. That'll effectively take your shoulder out when it's fired. Even the newer models, if you go watch people shooting, they're like, oh, my shoulder. And if you're looking through a scope, as he allegedly was, you might even expect a black eye. You will recall that the guy who recorded the footage specifically told us that he saw no recoil. That's pretty crucial. He just saw the guy get up and run. And that would be, I would argue, or a lawyer in court, that would be impossible for this specific make and model of gun. So let's watch and see if we, with our eyes, can observe some sort of a kickback. And again, I have to apologize. This is not like Benny Johnson 4K footage, but it's at least clear enough here on your screen that you would be able to discern a strong kickback on a gun from somebody who's just laying down, taking a shot. So I'm going to let this run. It's about 50 seconds. And you just let me know if at any point you see that before he gets up and breaks into a sprint. Take a look. There you go. That's that unfolding again. And by the way, if you are listening to this in audio, this is one of these episodes that you actually do have to go watch. So you will have to pivot over to YouTube, to Spotify, somewhere that provides the video, because this is not something that we could just produce on an audio podcast here, unfortunately. But this is going to run. We did have to obviously zoom in and push out those fed timestamps, but see here, I have 10 more seconds here. Okay, he is up. Anybody?
Crazy.
Anybody see a recoil? I didn't see one, but let's actually put that footage all together uninterrupted. Here we go for you guys to watch.
Why only now is this coming to the public? Why did they hide this for so long?
Well, and they even had like
on to the rooftop.
The evidence where they're bringing it towards the judge, and they didn't play this. Why didn't they play this?
As a lateral military crawl, he begins that crawl.
The whole thing's a joke.
Over to the right first, and then to the left, we see a quick flash.
He's the new Lee Harvey Oswald.
I'm not sure what that flash is.
I hope he stays alive.
Actually, this looks like. Oh, I'm not going to read into it. There's that throw forward. I say fold forward. You can say throw forward, but that's definitely something being flung forward, getting into position. And here we wait for what we expect to be some sort of a kickback. This must have been when our source began recording from the side of a Pelosi building and said, oh, I just saw someone get up there.
There's so many questions around this. I know I'm a fan of Owen Benjamin's breakdown, his personal, very dark theory, which to me is unfortunately within the realm of possibility, is that the elites that took out Charlie Kirk literally ate him. Have you heard this yet?
I've heard you talk about it, but I've never heard it said by Owen. So,
yeah, this is the latest breakdown. He's like, guys, I think they literally ate Charlie Kirk, just like Epstein-esque beef jerky, ritualism. That's and so gross to think about. But it's almost like, just within the realm of possibilities with all the darkness and evil that's being exposed, especially with the Epstein files and their interest in human flesh. It's so dark, it almost is like, what if it's true? Oh, gosh.
That would be scary.
Now, here's a big red alert report from Alex Jones. And this is 150 days into the Iran war. Trump is stuck and in panic mode. And he says the U.S. is ready for a strong military action as American troops pour into the Middle East. And what's interesting is this is a high-level federal law enforcement person confirming that apparently Israel is planning to train America and the security forces here for martial law and mass gun confiscation. Now, if this isn't clickbait, then something to pay attention to, especially with the combination of the U.S. and Israeli military forces as of late.
An incredible video has surfaced that was shot 150 days ago when this disastrous war started. And it's Lindsey Graham talking about how Trump is the new Roosevelt and Netanyahu is the new Churchill, and how he convinced Trump to go to war with Netanyahu, and how Trump, quote, loves to blow stuff up, and how the war would be over very, very quickly and was going to be a huge success. And Lindsey Graham is basically in total ecstasy. I'm going to play that clip right now because that goes to the headlines we're seeing everywhere, Drudge, you name it, drudgereport.com, and that is stuck. President Trump, 150 days in, is in total, absolute, complete panic mode. The Strategic Oil Reserve runs out this week. The Chinese oil reserve runs out the next week. Same thing with the EU's oil reserve, strategic oil reserves. This is a disaster. And Trump walked right into the trap. Now he is preparing ground troop invasions of at least Kirk Island. He wants to bomb a whole bunch of so-called nuclear sites. All of this is supposedly to get Iran to come to the table and agree to everything that Israel wants. That is not going to happen. In fact, Iran continues to say, we're not in negotiations with you till you leave the Middle East. We're going to keep blowing up all of your bases, which they've been successfully doing. That's why our ships can't even go on the strait, because of all the anti-ship missiles they got from China and more. We told everybody this before the war started. We were right. Mark Levin and the rest of them said that it would just be a piece of cake, an absolute cakewalk, and that is not what happened. And so now this threatens the entire recovery. It's destroying America's name around the world. And Israel's finance minister said last week, this is a perfect scenario because it will hurt Iran's economy and they don't care about the rest of the world economy. So here is clip 6, Lindsey Graham from the grave, just days into the war starting, talking about how Trump, quote, loves to blow things up. I thought this was the peace president who promised he wouldn't get us into an Iran war. Here's the clip.
Virtually everything they have has been knocked out now. Their missile count is going way down. No. Amazingly, they're hitting countries that
Look what we've done here. I almost cried. Yeah. I mean, like, how long have we been pushing this?
Well, I mean, you've been pushing this for years, right?
Right. It's here. I talked to Trump this morning.
It's literally.
Oh, he's Jack.
Yeah.
It's the best thing I've ever done. He loves blowing stuff up. So, you know, there are a lot of people inside didn't want to do it. So I've had my challenges. But President Trump, when he gets into the zone, he listens, he asks good questions, you know, no tweeting. He has done he hadn't tweeted much at all, no drama. He's been a great wartime president. I said last night that Trump and Bibi are like Roosevelt and Churchill. They're the right two guys to confront this evil.
Wow. I mean, would you make that comparison, Jeremiah?
Hell no. Excuse my language, but hell no. Well, I think they were both terrible people. Both, I mean, that's a terrible comparison on both sides. I mean, they're both, I don't know. History's so dark that our heroes turn out to be evil, you know?
Yeah, and you know, I did mention the combination of American and Israeli military spending that was just recently kind of pushed through, and we talked about this, you know, possible training for Homeland Security regarding the confiscation of guns from Americans. Obviously, this is always kind of the NRA, Second Amendment fear mongering type thing, but check this out. We're gonna just watch a few more minutes of this Alex Jones report.
Well, let's talk about that. For 50 years, the ADL has trained police, and it's gotten more intense. They give awards out to police chiefs and other police, and all of that stuff we saw under Bill Clinton and Obama to train to take on the constitutional terrorist. All those newscasts we played, all the secret documents law enforcement, military gave us that were concerned. talked about the fact the ADL got in trouble back in the 90s, breaking into police department intelligence files. They don't have to do that now because they do most of the training politically for the police around the country. That's the fact. Trump early on in his administration said they were going to stop that because they found the ADL was lying about Trump. But when they backed off that, now they're back more than ever. And then you have the clergy response teams under InfraGard, and the FBI started after 2001. And it wasn't training to look for Muslims doing terror attacks. It was for training clergy response teams during crises like gun confiscation. I have ABC News reporting that. It's in my films. You just type in Katrina, clergy response teams, gun confiscation. You'll see the preachers. And in fact, Rob Dew, it's in Police State 4. So Rob, after the live show today, we're sending it to Wilson to add it to this report from the live show. We put a clip out. Let's put the clergy response team clip in right here from, I think it was Police State 4, ABC News, about the preachers are there when they have to confiscate the guns with the nationwide martial law, fighting the constitutional terrorist patriots, that when they have to kill and shoot Americans, that the preachers will tell everybody it is of the Lord. Romans 13, render unto Caesar things that are Caesar's, and those to God that are God's. And of course, it's totally taken out of context and twisted. It was Hitler's favorite Bible quote, was Romans 13. And they say in Romans 13, they're preparing to kill you and take your guns. And they go to a person's house, we'll turn them in, and they kill them. And that's, and let's put let's a couple newscasts. Let's just put those newscasts in here. Because people tend to think I'm making this stuff up. It's so crazy. Yeah, there's the old ADL spy ring stuff they got in trouble for. So that's really what's going on here.
This is a test of the emergency alert system.
I hate that
Let's go
sound.
ahead and play the clergy response team clip. Now, remember, before this became national news, we got the secret documents from pastors who've been recruited by FEMA. We posted the secret documents with FEMA phone numbers. Train your flocks to turn their guns in. Train your flocks to go to FEMA camps. Train your flocks to take forced inoculations. People didn't believe us, just like they didn't believe the MIAC report. Then suddenly local news began reporting it, but like it was a good thing. Now listen, will martial law ever be a reality? And the preachers are there being paid by the government, faith-based initiative now continuing under Obama, to tell their flocks to do what they're told by the authorities. And the government's biggest threat is the American people. That's a quote. So this is specifically the pastors getting ready for us to go to FEMA camps. And there's thousands of pieces of evidence like this. And Glenn Beck's saying it doesn't exist. Here it is.
Law ever become a reality in America? Some fear any nuclear, biological, or chemical attack on U.S. territory might trigger just that. And as KSLA News 12 Jeff Farrell discovered, the clergy would help the government with potentially their biggest problem, us.
From my cold, dead hands.
Charlton Heston's famous declaration captures a truly American value, the overarching desire to protect our freedoms. But gun confiscation is exactly what happened during the state of emergency following Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans. U.S. troops also arrived, something far easier to do even now thanks to last year's elimination of the 1878 Posse Comitatus Act. That forbid U.S. troops from policing on American soil. If martial law were enacted here at home, like depicted in the movie The Siege, easing public fears and quelling dissent would be critical. And that's exactly what the clergy response team, as it's called, helped accomplish in New Orleans.
Jeff, the primary thing that we say to anybody is let's cooperate and get this thing over with, and then we'll settle the differences once the crisis is over.
Such clergy response teams would walk a tightrope between the needs of the government versus the wishes of the public.
In a lot of cases, these clergy would already be known in the neighborhoods in which they're helping to defuse that situation.
For the clergy, one of the biggest tools that they will have in helping calm the public down or obey the law is the Bible itself, specifically Romans 13.
Because the government is established by the Lord, and that's what we believe in the Christian faith. That's what's stated in the Scripture.
Civil rights advocates believe the amount of public cooperation may depend largely on how long they expect the suspension of their rights might last.
Today in New Orleans, they got a lot tougher on the holdouts.
Police department, anyone home?
Not only the flooded areas, but New Orleans' driest and wealthiest neighborhoods, too.
Police department!
The police and National Guard going street by street, house to house. We need to make sure, too, that whenever we knock on doors, people refuse to leave. We need to make note, call it in. They say there are no orders to use force, just strong persuasion, sometimes entering open houses with guns drawn, and instructions to disarm anyone inside.
You said guns will be taken. No one will be able to be armed. We will take all weapons.
That happened today in this wealthy neighborhood where homeowners had armed themselves to protect their mansions. Residents were handcuffed on the ground. In the end, police took their weapons but let them stay in their homes.
They were a little bit threatened because our weapons were bigger than their weapons.
For many of the police and guard troops, it is an uncomfortable job to do this in an American city. This guard unit occupied a church, using it as a base camp. They had to leave a note because they could not get hold of the pastor to get permission.
It is.
All right, so we're going to stop it there and just comment for a moment, Jeremiah, is just the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, and all of these political kind of funders that are based in Israel that inject money into our Congress, into the legislation, it's just, oh man, what a strange world we live in. And so these are the ones that are training police that are basically Israeli tied and backed. Just the conspiracy broadens. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then I guess that was after Waco, like they fear people with guns, It's so silly.
Yeah. And we see that there's precedence that's been set over the past, 3 or 4 decades, ever since the Waco siege, ever since Ruby Ridge. There's a precedence being set that is building and building, and this massive funding coming from Israel into training police forces. It's very interesting. And the reason I wanted to share this Alex Jones clip is because, one, the ADL is directly behind kind of this attack on the freedom of speech by labeling people as anti-Semitic. They become these targets. They become these individuals that are dangerous to society by being labeled anti-Semitic, even if they aren't racist or against Jewish people. And this slippery slope of how the First Amendment is being challenged by these groups is spreading. There's a case that just recently was settled on, and it's this here, Jeremiah, where free speech has been apparently executed in Minnesota. A jury convicted Hendricks, this lady here, for using the N-word, just a word, not violence. And so obviously this woman had a bad attitude. She said a mean word,
naughty word
to a little boy, and she was convicted over just her words. And so it's not condoning her lashing out at a boy trying to steal her snacks or whatever, but disorderly conduct for speech kills the First Amendment. And apparently a woke jury delivered the kill shot. And, this poses like the Supreme Court of the United States, they got to shut this down. Hendricks did nothing criminal. Prosecutors and jury are criminalizing language. And so when we pair these two topics together, the involvement of the ADL and this rise in alleged anti-Semitism, and how the death of the freedom of speech is the death knell note rang recently in Minnesota revolving around the N-word, how this all plays in together into 1984 thought police state and to censorship, the death of freedom of speech is super significant. And hopefully you guys can put those puzzle pieces together.
Yep. Well
now,
said.
back somebody who is very familiar with the I Pet Goat 2 conspiratorial video, and we've covered this in the past. Now, let me just read this post. I have very important information to share and not enough time to make a video about it. Marco Rubio declared yesterday that President Trump's policy is a head for an eye. This concept just happened to be portrayed in the I Pet Goat 2 animation, and by the looks of it, everything could be going down this weekend. In iPet Goat 2, it is clear to see a dead boy with an injury to his eye, and the USA then using 3 stealth bombers to bomb a location that looks like the head, neck, and shoulders of a person, while an aircraft carrier is sinking in the background. The timing is just as important, as the moon will be in the bow of Sagittarius this coming Sunday, with the moon illuminated just exactly as it's shown in the animation. If all of these events play out over the weekend with a climax on Sunday evening or Monday morning Israel time, we could see, obviously they're predicting the rapture, but primarily, I think, World War III. And there's also some in the know who are saying Operation A Head for an Eye begins this weekend. Blessings until we meet in the air, but this Head for an Eye connection that they're making with that iPet Goat 2 animation is fascinating, because we know that it's like one of those playbook predictive programming type things that was released back in 2013, made viral waves because it featured Obama and Bush and all these conspiratorial concepts squeezed into one. But it does seem like there's real world events today that are piggybacking off of some of the narrative elements in that cartoon. So I guess we'll only see, but if this Head for an Eye, connection that they're making is legitimate, then I'm curious what's going to be happening this coming weekend, Jeremiah.
Yep. It's pretty crazy, man.
Now, speaking of predictive programming, check out the White House's official, basically Rick and Morty intro video that they just dropped. And these official White House animated AI videos are getting kind of like insane, and they're so entertaining. But literally the text along with this post is hop in to the best dimension yet, right? Check this out.
This will be JD and Trump.
MAGA. And it's from the official White House account.
Crazy.
Oh, yeah. And I wanted to show that after talking about the iPet Go 2 animation, because it's almost like the official White House account is starting to drop these fun little AI videos that, just like iPet Goat 2, are stuffed full of very interesting kind of conspiratorial linked predictive programming expose. It's like they're revealing their cards without actually confirming it's true or false.
Right.
Remember how Trump was recently demanding people invest in magnets? Well, China just made a 582-ton fusion energy giant magnet. It's a toroidal field superconducting magnet that is now the largest superconducting magnet ever constructed for fusion reactor. And the way that it works is fusion creates heat that is so uncontainable that it'll just melt even the highest melting point, container we can put it in. And so the only way to contain this massive amount of hot fusion energy is through these magnetic toroidal fields that contain the energy that I suspect they're planning to use to really plug in AI and boost the total power consumption for their AI.
182-ton toroidal field superconducting magnet. It is now the largest superconducting magnet ever constructed for a fusion reactor. Developed by the Institute of Plasma Physics under the Chinese Academy of Sciences, the magnet has officially passed expert review and represents one of the most significant milestones yet in humanity's pursuit of controlled nuclear fusion. The title of this video may sound sensational, a magnet that can hold a star, but in a very real sense, that is precisely what this machine has been designed to do. Not a star made of solid matter, but the same physical processes that power every star in the universe. Fusion occurs when atomic nuclei are forced together under immense temperature and pressure, releasing extraordinary quantities of energy. The sun has sustained this process continuously for approximately 4.6 billion years, converting hydrogen into helium while bathing the solar system in light and heat. The challenge facing physicists has always been deceptively simple. Can we recreate that process on Earth? The problem is temperature. Fusion plasma must reach well over 100 million degrees Celsius before atomic nuclei begin fusing efficiently. That is approximately 7 times hotter than the center of the sun. At those temperatures, there is no material known to science capable of physically containing the plasma. Steel will melt. Tungsten, one of the highest melting point elements on Earth, would rapidly fail. Even the strongest engineered ceramics cannot survive prolonged contact. The solution, therefore, is not to build stronger walls, but to ensure the plasma never touches the walls in the first place. This is where superconducting magnets become one of the most remarkable technologies ever developed. Instead of constructing a physical container, scientists construct an invisible magnetic bottle. Charged particles within the plasma naturally follow magnetic field lines. By generating an incredibly powerful and precisely shaped magnetic field inside a donut-shaped chamber known as a tokamak, the plasma can effectively be suspended in free space, isolated from every solid surface around it. It's this magnetic confinement that allows temperatures exceeding 100 million degrees Celsius to exist inside a machine without destroying it. The newly completed Chinese magnet is a toroidal field magnet, arguably the single most important component within this magnetic confinement system.
All right. So really huge tech advancements in terms of being able to create these power nuclear fusion reactors, and this is all super necessary as we are in this AI powering arms race. And very, very interesting, just the advancement. I love magnets. Do you like magnets, Jeremiah?
I love magnets. I mean, I don't think I'd get, half of the stuff to stick in my studio if it wasn't for magnets. So thank you, magnets.
Yeah, when I was much younger, one of my gamer tags for a Star Wars game I liked to play when I was in high school was Darth Magnets. I always thought that was funny because the Force was supposed to be this energy or whatever, and I was like, the Force in our world is magnets, so I'm going to be Darth Magnets. So I always thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, Darth Magnets. That's what we're going to call you. We're going to make t-shirts in our secret society shop just to say Darth Magnets.
I love it. Well, just running through some other things that I've been seeing. Here's Spain and France on fire like never before. 44 people are wanted for arson in France, 16 in Spain. It's a big coordinated, deliberate, basically attack on these countries. So the question is, are they just paving the way, or they just similar to kind of the fires we saw in Florida, just our last episode, how these fires in the Florida Everglades were like lit in these perfect long lines. It's like, this is not a natural thing. They're burning house down so that they can build data centers and 5-minute cities or whatever.
Yeah, like the Palisades.
Also more than 200,000 people had been forced to evacuate homes and holiday resorts as massive wildfires continue to burn across Spain and France. Officials said the wildfire near Madrid remains out of control. 44,000 people have fled Cap Ferret Peninsula, where more than 50 homes have been destroyed. Authorities use boats and road convoys to evacuate residents as flames threaten the area's only access route. Check out these fires. It's just hellscape.
Sal de ahí, sal de ahí, sal de ahí, sal de ahí. Sal de ahí.
Spies, it's hot, it's hot.
Sal de ahí.
Translating. Hot, hot.
Sal de ahí, sal de ahí.
Very hot.
Sal de ahí que los ha quemado enteros de copa.
Very hot, hot, hot.
Okay, so yep, we're seeing these fires, Florida, Spain, France. I wonder why. What's the cause? Why are people setting these fires?
Who knows?
My theory is it's a tie between the conspiracy of clearing house so that they have space to build infrastructure, and it's also tied to, I think, the immigration topic, where you have these disgruntled immigrants coming from the Middle East and third world countries that don't have any respect for the culture or the nations that they land in, and so they're just, all right, whatever, we're gonna burn it down.
People would call these folks so-called asylum seekers. These are all young guys just flooding into the country and overwhelming what, if any, border there is. It looks like there's just kind of a small barbed wire fence or something like that. But you can see the Spanish government was caught completely off guard here, and you have thousands of these men. I mean, it literally looks like, you often hear the word invasion, but it literally looks like one here. Look at that. I mean, you see the border fence there. They're all just going around it. And again,
the head of Spain's civil guard is calling this absolute chaos. In a brand new interview, he said, quote, "It's not possible to give precise numbers, but there are thousands of migrants crossing right now." He added that the border has totally collapsed, quote unquote.
Yeah, it certainly looks like it. And for folks who don't know where this is a small Spanish city, autonomous in North Africa. It's actually in Morocco, but it does have Spanish autonomy. It's called Ceuta. So this isn't on the mainland of Spain, but these images, we've been looking at them on social media all morning. It's just stark to see that there is no resistance whatsoever. I mean, at least in Del Rio back in 2021, when those 20,000 Haitians were crossing the river, similar images to this, you had some border patrol there. You had Texas DPS there trying to stop them. Here in Spain, there is absolutely nothing stopping these folks from wading ashore and climbing the fences. And Sandra, look at that in the background. I mean, there are thousands upon thousands of these men just flooding the country.
And there are reported deaths as well of some of those that are crossing over by water.
So just the other day, Elon Musk released X money. This is something that people should definitely pay attention to.
I saw
Elon
that.
Musk.
I got a notification on my X account that said, "Hey, do you want to sign up for X money?" And I was like, "X money? What the heck? I already paid for a membership to use Grok. I mean, the heck is going on?"
Now all your banking, all your payment, everything can go through your Twitter account.
Great.
X money. Tap into everything.
Yeah.
Pay anyone, any way. Via Elon Musk. Of course, he was intricately connected with the PayPal mafia. He sold PayPal, of course, to Peter Thiel, I believe. And originally, I believe he was interested in making X.com a money thing. That was like his OG plan for what X.com was meant to be. And so it's interesting that it's come full circle and now X money is here. So
marks the spot, as they say.
How long, Jeremiah, until you're going to get a sponsorship from Elon just because you're literally always repping him on your face?
Well, I was actually doing it first, but any amount of money, I'm willing to listen, but I'm not willing to sell out. If that makes sense, I'm willing to hear him out, because if I can use the money for good, not for evil, I mean, that would be great. If I could house all the homeless, that'd be amazing.
I mean, who better of a mascot for X than Jeremiah Skiba, who's got the X marks the spot right on the
show my nipple. You can do whatever.
Oh, don't start your OnlyFans yet, Jeremiah.
You might have to blur that. But I've already got some tattoos. I always thought it would be cool when I was younger, when I was a musician, that if I could sell parts of my body to different companies and just have them tattoo, different things on me, but then it'd be permanent forever. So, like real estate.
Hey. Mom Donnie just announced that he's going to be opening 5 city-run tax-funded grocery stores with prices set 30% below retail prices, which it sounds great, but it's literally socialism, and it's how a government-run grocery store will shut out the mom and pops that can't compete with 30% below retail prices.
Yep.
So that's just happened recently. Here's a clip of in China, a drone. China has these police drones already. And we showed a clip of it. It's kind of crazy, like the drones like barking at people. But you better, put on the gas. Stop sitting on your phone. Well, now here's footage from a beach in the city of Qingdao showing a drone approach a beachgoer and ordering him through a loudspeaker to leave the water and enforcing a nighttime swim ban. Big Brother is watching you. This is insane.
看看这人，他就不上来。
I see your face. I see your face. Get out of water.
Man, I mean, look at this guy. He's like being strobe lighted by the drone.
Could you
get out of the
imagine
water? Get out of the
somebody
water.
who, like, what if you had like a condition like where it would like legit give you seizures? Like they have those strobe light warnings. Because I used to get weirded out when I would see strobe lights, but they don't care. They're just like, I don't care if you go crazy or not,
Oh, man.
The water's not a good place for that either.
For sure. And it's just a matter of time till we have that here in the Western world. I'm trying to jaywalk and a drone flies off of its charging station on the telephone pole and like it starts strobing me. Jaywalker.
Don't give me any ideas, man.
Oh,
They'll
man.
do it.
Under the video, scrolling news captions, they're announcing an imminent volcano that's just getting ready to blow up. But no big deal. We're just gonna put it in the bottom scrolling text. So. Now, on mainstream news, blow its top off the West Coast. Scientists predict one of the Pacific Ocean's lesser-known volcanoes will blow its vent in the coming months, causing
no big deal, though. Don't worry about it.
10,000 earthquakes in one day. So CNN, just forewarning us, not with an official news story or anything, but get ready. Underwater volcano. It's ready to blow its top. We're not going to show the whole video, but a huge step forward in terms of your father's research and the topic of Nephilim and the scriptures and these giants hybrids that walk among us. The Kandahar giant. Timothy Alberino was recently on Joe Rogan's podcast, and we've actually interviewed Timothy Alberino before on this channel.
A long time ago. Yeah.
And, very, very significant that this kind of topic is getting onto a platform as large as Joe Rogan's. Man, I wish, Rob was still around because I for sure think he would have been on Rogan's podcast if he was here. And
and it's not just Rogan. It's like Tucker. I saw him on somebody else this morning, and I'm like, man, it's like once Rogan gets you on, it's like you make the rounds,
Oh, yeah. Which is significant in terms of our realm of conspiracy, biblical truthers. It's a win. It's a win just because now more people are going to be interested in what the scriptures have to say about these genetic abominations, these Nephilim that the scripture has talked about, going all the way back to the story of David and Goliath and the Genesis 6 conspiracy. And I
want to make a statement that is very might be kind of different. I consider us truther outlaws. I consider Timothy Alberino a mainstream truther, if you will. Like I consider him like the I don't know, like he's like into himself, too much. But we're like the outlaw, like Outlaw Country was like Waylon Jennings, Johnny Cash, like all the legends, but they were like, they didn't do it the way other people did it. That's how we are. But let's go ahead and watch Timmy boy.
Yeah, just cool.
That was looking for Taliban or something. And they came upon a cave because there was a nearby village and the villagers were bringing food and other artifacts to the mouth of this cave. And so they thought that they're aiding and abetting the Taliban. So they went into the cave, and rather than encountering the Taliban, what they found was this enormous humanoid who killed them all. And then, according to these soldiers, they deployed another team to go look for that team.
Sounds like my dad's comic book, doesn't it?
When they found the cave, they found the traces of that other team. They were ready. They were prepared, and they were able to kill the giant. In fact, the soldiers told the pilot that the giant was eating on members of the team who had killed previously. But these,
so we definitely so cool that he's literally talking about the story that your dad visually demonstrated better than anyone else. I mean, yes, L.A. Marzulli knows a lot about this. Yes, Timothy got to talk about it, but Rob took the story of the Kandahar giant and did an amazing comic book on it. And if you guys are interested, maybe Jeremiah, you want to plug where they can find that?
I'll put a link in the description. I mean, of 1 and 2. I think they're both digital downloads. I know for number 2, it's definitely digital download. We should print them though. I think that'd be interesting. And some big stuff coming up, but I don't want to give it away.
Yeah, very, very exciting. And if you guys are interested in this Timothy Alberino interview, you definitely want to pick up Rob's comic book because it covers the Kandahar giant topic. So now these last few little things are just funny things that have happened recently. Here's a guy who, during one of Trump's recent speeches, was like basically doing an impression right behind him.
And Americans are working today more so than ever before. More jobs today than we've ever had. This is with this skirmish we have with the Islamic Republic of Iran.
In the comments, who does a better Trump, me or this guy?
They're getting hit so hard, and they want to make a deal.
Yeah, man, this guy went viral.
That's all we got to do, man. We got to go to a Trump rally and wear our TrutherCon merch. Hey, that's a good idea.
Good idea. Good idea.
And do the thing and then rip off the shirt. It says TrutherCon written across my bare chest. You know, like these are things that would go viral, you know?
Here's another interesting clip of a guy in a wheelchair sitting at a red light. It took an exciting turn when Spider-Man jumps out of his red Wrangler and helps the man across the street. I'm a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Let me help you, sir.
Well, I'll have you know that was me. I have a Spider-Man costume, and I really do, and that this is really me.
Yeah,
no, I hate to take credit. That's another Spider-Man, but I would do the same thing.
Funny cosplaying hope for humanity happening right there. I like it. Have you heard of the horrifying explosive butt syndrome that's been going across the USA recently due to lettuce and some type of parasite?
Oh yeah, I had a please excuse my sense of humor thing about it. Explosive diarrheas, you know, like it's explosive.
Yeah. Apparently its epicenter is right around Cincinnati or something. So here's the map for all you people who are trying to avoid this butt parasite.
I love that it's brown.
Yeah. Here's the big Tex tough turds, you know, diarrhea epicenter. Oh man. It's Yep. So last funny one, you know, we covered the buffalo that kicked that tourist in Yellowstone like 10 foot in the air or something. Well, apparently just recently a man was arrested chasing tourists in a bison costume in Yellowstone National Park. The park rangers arrested a 34-year-old man Saturday after he allegedly dressed in a homemade bison costume and spent nearly 2 hours chasing tourists while repeatedly yelling, "Now you know how it feels."
That's funny.
Witnesses said several visitors briefly believed the costume was real before noticing the "Made in China" tag flapping from the tail.
Oh my gosh.
I think that's
at
hilarious.
least do it right, you know, like made in China.
Oh man. And you know, it's just so funny. I think these like viral animal moments that have just recently been coming out have been like really class A memes. We don't get those so often, but the Jimothy thing and the bison kicking the guy in the air, really memorable. It's kind of like Harambe, like I mentioned last episode.
Well, I hope we can get Jimothy on the show. I mean, that would be a dream come true, you know? And maybe he'd be
like
willing.
Your spirit animal.
Yeah. Yep. I recently found pictures of my spine and how messed up it was, and it reminded me of Jimothy a lot. And so I feel you, brother. But yeah.
Yeah. Hey, have any updates from us with your ongoing dispute with a viral fake earther?
Oh, the Fakest, I mean, the fittest flat earther, correct, right? So, you know, before Opa passed, the night before, I was working on a video, and I showed it to him, and he thought it was the funniest thing ever because I was literally calling him out on every single thing.
Make up bull crap about you to get the non-critical thinker.
Now, Jake, do you know what satire means?
Oh, yes. It means you sit on a tire.
That's what I feel like a lot of people think in this world. But satire is like a form of comedy. It's a form of, you know, making fun of others based on their idiotic beliefs, like this guy. So I sent it to Sam. This is the whole backstory. I sent it to Sam, and I was like, you know, making fun, and he thought it was funny. And so he was like, you know, make sure you like invite me as a collaborator on that. So I was like, deal. So I put it out, invited him as a you know, collaborator, and it went thermonuclear viral, probably more than any other clip or picture I've ever put out. So this is all satire. Keep in mind that this is all a joke, and he's taking it so seriously. He has 500,000 subscribers. You know, I have like 10,000 on Instagram. So he's spending his time doing this. So here we go.
To just buy it by literally calling me Richard Simmons because I was a PE teacher for 20 years.
Okay, let's go ahead and pause it right there, Mr. Timmy Boy. I actually received a message from one of your students that says that you did a lot of things that weren't appropriate, and that's why you don't have your job as a PE teacher anymore. So just saying, I could always release those as well. Somebody actually thanked me for calling you out. So there is that, and I can always expose it. So, okay, carry on.
This is from Jeremiah Skiba, and he and I actually have made up recently.
Okay, let's go ahead and stop right there, because we didn't make up recently. You did all this, so that's the furthest thing. And since then, you know, some other stuff has come to light, so let's go ahead and carry on.
But he's posted all sorts of nonsense on me that he knows isn't true. Stuff like this. Stuff like the fact that he calls me freaking Timothy McVeigh, the OKC bomber. Which he knows isn't true.
Sorry, I hate to do this again, but let's pause. I was just doing something that's called satire, you know, that used to exist, something called satire, where you could make fun of other people because one is saying that because somebody has two eyes, a nose, and a mouth, that they must be the same person. So I was making fun of you. That's what I was doing. But, yeah, you don't understand that because you're a little cuckoo. So let's go ahead and let's learn a little bit more about Mr. Timothy McVeigh. And I do still think you're Timothy McVeigh, by the way. I hate to say it.
And well, I had about enough of him making up lying videos about me, so I decided to take a real good look at his face.
Oh no, I'm so scared. Please don't. Please. Please do, actually, because it drives my engagement up, so I appreciate you.
And honestly, it didn't take long whatsoever, and I saw that face was Quicksilver from the X-Men movies, Evan Peters. Evan Peters, who also played Jeffrey Dahmer. Cool glasses there.
Actually, prescription glasses. I'm glad you think it's cool, because they're different glasses. They are both aviators, so I guess they're similar, but, you know, you wouldn't know anything about that.
And here's Jeremiah, who just happens to have a tattoo right here. X marks the spot. You want to see something interesting about Evan Peters? Do you see it there? Do you see it? X
Oh, now I see a green.
The spot.
Okay. green marks the spot.
Here and here. It's faint, but it's there. X. And I even sent it to Jeremiah. I said, bro, if you wanted a video done on you, there are easy ways to go about it than mocking me for a year straight. And he responded with, love it. You know why? Because they love their old characters getting recognition. Jeremiah and the real Jeffrey Dahmer. I'll let you be the judge on this one. I will bite my tongue. But he does call me the Oklahoma City bomber with zero evidence, and
I look nothing like Jeffrey Dahmer, and he looks just
his
like
defense,
the Oklahoma City bomber.
I don't think the real Jeffrey Dahmer killed anyone. It's all fear and nonsense, trauma-based mind control. Like I said, you be the judge. Jeremiah, Evan Peters. And well, he loved this one, but didn't sign off on this next one. Jeremiah and the real Jeffrey Dahmer.
Actually, I did reply to those messages. You can see here and here. Anyways, I guess just believe the...
Well, let's go ahead and pause it, because I did say I would provide receipts. I said, bro, I'm just one guy. I appreciate the apology. Yeah, he died in 2021, talking about my dad. My mom died in 2024. And you can make as many videos as you want about me. I don't really care about that. But yeah, dude, who else do you think I am? Just curious. And then that's when he came up with the other one. So he's leaving out a whole lot of context for his fans, right? And he edited every single message that we had. And apparently, I'm really good friends with Joe Rogan.
And the real Jeffrey.
He died.
Jeffrey Dahmer.
Actually, I did reply to those messages. You can see here and here. Anyways, I guess just believe the truth, okay? By the way, I was born in April of 1994. He died in November of 1994, as you can see here. So, yeah, good try.
So they mock the one guy trying to tell you the truth.
Timmy, did I just hear you say that you were the only one who tells truth? Interesting. Let's hear that again.
The one guy trying to tell you the truth.
The one guy trying to tell you the truth.
This is literally what Jeremiah has pinned on his Instagram page. There's me and there's me. And he's there with his buddy Sam Triple E.
Oh.
You know, Sam Triple E, who wears the upside down Lost Angels or Falling Angels hat. And hey, Sam Triple E. You know what Triple E looks like reversed?
Does it look like this, dum-dum?
Both Sam and Jeremiah, they want me to come on their podcast. What do you think? Do I go? Do I step into the snake pit willingly? Put on the full armor of the Most High, fast and pray?
Keep it another first thing about the
Put in the comments. What do you think? I told Jeremiah that I'll think about it if he puts in a word with Rogan, who they're both good buddies with, and really step into the snake pit.
I'm honored.
But to me, it might be worth it, because if I can get on the largest podcast in the world and wake up 1% of the people, well, to me, it's worth it. And like I said earlier, I'm fearless of them anyway. That they all play multiple roles and they don't die. Entertainment only, though. I'm a satire account.
Oh, he's a satire account. Don't forget about that. Yeah, he's a satire. Yeah, whatever, retard. It's just funny to me. He gets so offended and butthurt by anybody who calls him out. And I mean, look at his little smirk right there. I will release it maybe this Sunday of all the things that he edited. I took screenshots of everything. One thing my mom told me was always take screenshots when you get a death threat and when you get a troll. And I've gotten both. So I can expose him for all the lies that he just made. Not only that, he promised me that he wouldn't do anything regarding to my dad, because he said, I feel like an asshole if that's true. If your dad is really dead. And I said, he's really dead. He said, oh, I'm sorry, I'll never do it again. He did it with every single celebrity, which was retarded and silly. He was like, don't make me release these. Don't make me release. And I was like, you don't understand, dude. My family, I come from mafia blood. Okay. So I have like an upper hand on, like, I have so much evidence against you. You don't even want to poke this tiger. Like, I will destroy you. So, with that being the case, little Timmy boy, I wish you nothing but the best. He's a friend of the show, I must say. We wish him well, and hope your investigations or your transvestigations or whatever it is that you do, I wish you the best. And with that being said, it's time for All New History's Mysteries.
Espionage is a game of deception, danger, and cats. That's right. At the height of the Cold War, the CIA came up with one of the strangest, most expensive, and utterly ridiculous spy missions ever attempted. The plan? Turn a cat into a covert listening device. The agency spent 5 years and $20 million surgically implanting a microphone, a radio transmitter, and an antenna inside a real living cat, hoping it would casually wander up to Soviet officials and eavesdrop on their conversations. This wasn't a joke, this was a classified government operation. And what happened next? Well, let's just say this high-tech, top-secret spy cat didn't even last 5 minutes in the field. This is the bizarre and hilarious true story of Project Acoustic Kitty, the CIA's most expensive and possibly dumbest espionage failure of all time.
Now, in fact, it was the dumbest. The CIA spent $15 to $20 million doing this in the 1960s, and it sounds like it's made up. And Lindsay brought this to my attention, along with which we might get into a little bit later, about Gerald the dolphin. But it was that same episode where she was talking to me about Operation Kitty, which I love. And if you love Operation Kitty after this, go to our Secret Society shop. I put a really cool design in there. But let's carry on with this Operation Kitty and if it worked or not.
During the Cold War, the US and the Soviet Union were in a constant spy versus spy chess game. Nuclear threats, secret codes, and double agents. It was an era of desperation for any advantage, no matter how ridiculous. The US feared Soviet intelligence was 10 steps ahead. The Soviet Union feared that the US was listening to everything. And both sides were throwing ridiculous amounts of money at the problem. That meant that any idea, no matter how absurd, was worth considering. Because what if it actually worked? We'd be calling it a brilliant Cold War invention right now. So when a CIA officer suggested using a cat as a stealth recording device, instead of laughing them out the room, the agency actually funded it. Cats, they reasoned, are silent, nimble, and can wander unnoticed into any location, perhaps even right into the middle of Soviet conversations. The mission? Turn an ordinary house cat into a Cold War super spy.
Now, I think Charlie would be a great super spy, but what happened to this cat is very sad, and I wish I knew his name off the top of my head, but you'll find out.
Alright, so how do you turn a cat into a recording device? Well, the CIA literally rewired the poor animal. Step 1 was to implant a tiny microphone inside its ear. Then they placed a radio transmitter near its skull. And then finally they weaved an antenna into its tail for signal transmission. Yeah, you heard that right. Cat's tail was an antenna. The CIA then spent around an estimated $20 million on surgeries and training and testing. But there was one small problem. No one really stopped to ask, do cats actually listen to humans? And it turns out that the answer is no. After the months of training and testing, and what we can only assume were a lot of confused scientists trying to reason with a cat, Agent Meow 007 was ready. The mission? Release the cat near a Soviet compound and let it record conversations. It sounds simple enough. So they set the cat down outside a park where Soviet officials were talking. It took approximately 5 seconds for the mission to go completely off the rails. The highly trained multi-million-dollar spy cat took one look at the world around it, and it immediately ran into the street, where it was promptly hit by a taxi. Decades of Cold War paranoia, millions of dollars, all gone in an instant. The CIA immediately realized their mistake. Even if the cat hadn't been tragically flattened, they still had no way to control where it went. Because, fun fact, cats don't care about top secret missions. They care about naps and snacks and knocking things off tables. Eventually, Project Acoustic Kitty was scrapped and buried deep in CIA archives. Its failure classified for decades. It wasn't until the early 2000s that the project was declassified, revealing to the world one of the strangest espionage operations in history.
So yeah, one of the strangest for sure. And that poor cat, I think he committed suicide because he was just tortured. I mean, I don't know. I just think, you know, they were trying to train something that you can't train. They train you. You don't train them. And if you have a cat at home, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So, I mean, maybe a dog, but like, you know, dogs are too big and too, you know, maybe a rat. No, a rat's kind of silly, but everybody loves a cat. And I think that they were hoping that the toxoplasmosis, which does not turn you gay, in fact, it just makes you more of a man if you're a man with a cat, that, you know, it would give the person the toxoplasmosis and they would just love on the cat and they would get all these secrets, but they were mistaken. So let's go ahead and play the rest of this video. I think this will be the last clip. And it's interesting about Gerald the dolphin that we went into that little rabbit hole because you'll see why.
The CIA never truly gave up on its dream of using animals for espionage. The US Navy has trained bottlenose dolphins for years, turning them into living sonar systems. With their powerful echolocation, they can detect underwater mines and even enemy divers before alerting their handlers. And the US isn't alone in this. Rumors persist that Russia has its own squad of military dolphins, trained to guard naval bases, retrieve objects from the seafloor, and potentially, though unconfirmed, attack enemy divers. If true, it means that somewhere deep below the surface there are dolphins swimming with a security clearance. And during World War I and II, long before satellites and hidden cameras, pigeons were the original spies of the sky. During the two world wars, intelligence agencies equipped pigeons with tiny cameras, sending them over enemy lines to snap aerial reconnaissance photos. Some countries to this day still use pigeons for covert messaging, especially in regions where electronic surveillance is pervasive. When technology fails, a well-trained pigeon might still get the job done. And Russia is going one step further. In 2019, Norwegian fishermen encountered something bizarre. You might have heard about it on the news. A beluga whale was wearing a harness marked property of St. Petersburg. Was it a runaway, a research experiment, or something more covert? Many experts suspect it was part of Russia's ongoing program to use marine life for military purposes. After all, if dolphins can be trained for defense, why not whales for surveillance? So, why do some animals make the cut and cats don't? The answer is...
Hold on. I got to pause it, Jeremiah. I'm curious why they put their name tag on the beluga whale. Like in tactical warfare, you know, you want to distract and divert the enemy. Why wouldn't they put property of China or something like that? Like, you're really going to put the name tag to trace your spy whale back to you? Why wouldn't you put somebody else's name on that thing?
Because the feds are stupid. If you think about it, I mean, they just wanted to make sure, they just wanted everybody to know that this was in fact their property, which it really isn't. It's God's property, you know? But yeah.
Very simple. Trainability. Dolphins and pigeons follow commands. They respond to patterns and they work within structured environments. Cats, well, cats do whatever they want. The lessons here are simple. Cats will probably never be spies. If you're spending $20 million on anything, maybe test it in a safe environment first. And if the CIA ever tries this again, they should probably use a dog. But more importantly, Project Acoustic Kitty is a perfect example of how governments, when desperate enough, will invest in truly bizarre ideas. The CIA has a long, rich history of trying really dumb things. When most people think of espionage, they imagine sleek, high-tech gadgets and brilliantly executed covert missions. What they don't picture is a bunch of intelligence officials sitting in a boardroom, pitching ideas straight out of a bad cartoon. Operation Mongoose was the CIA versus Fidel Castro. He was the CIA's white whale. They wanted him gone. But instead of using, actual spies, they brainstormed assassination tactics that sound like rejected Looney Tunes scripts. One was an exploding seashell placed in the waters where Castro liked to dive. They also thought about poisoned cigars, because apparently that would totally not be obvious. A chemical designed to make his beard fall out so he'd look less intimidating. Yes, they really thought of that. And it's not a surprise that none of these plans worked, but they did give us a glimpse into the CIA's creative side.
That's like my kryptonite.
So, Project Acoustic Key. Decades of paranoia, millions of dollars, and all they got was an extremely expensive roadkill. This project may have been an absolute disaster, but it will forever hold a place in history as one of the most absurd attempts at espionage ever. And the best part is that somebody actually had to explain this to Congress. The Cold War was full of crazy ideas, but none quite as hilariously doomed as Project Acoustic Key. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on the next unbelievable cat story.
So shout out to Cat Cog on YouTube. They don't have a whole lot of subscribers. He doesn't. I love not taking yourself too seriously, and having stuff in our shop, you know, is just so much fun. I have my Operation Acoustic Kitty right here. I have my Charlie Manson. Oswald was innocent. Everybody knows that. So if you like it, and it really helps out the channel. If you don't, just like please excuse, it doesn't bother me. So with that being said, I have a very special, please excuse my sense of humor for you guys. And if you get offended, I'm sorry. If you love it, oh, I'm sorry that you're offended. So.
My Hut, der hat.
I visited the British Museum, nothing British in it. They've just gone around the world shopping, collecting artifacts, and then they give tribute to the collectors. Collectors. Is that what we are calling them? Collectors? Have you heard of Alibaba and the 40 collectors?
For the last part of your drive test, you see an old man and a young kid. What do you hit?
The old man? Well, I mean, the kid has his whole life ahead of him. So, I would hit the old man, right?
The brakes.
That
You'd
elbow?
hit the brakes.
Yeah.
We are here at the scene of a shocking incident. A woman killed her husband because he dared to walk on the floor while she was mopping. Has the woman been arrested yet?
Not yet. We're waiting for the floor to dry.
You know, you die and then you go up to get judged, right? God pops in the DVD of your life. Like, oh, I don't know about this right here. Mind explaining yourself? This might be the most arrogant thing I say all night, but I actually resent the fact that I'm going to get judged someday. Like, if that's true, that somebody's going to judge me, like, doesn't even make any sense. It's like, dude, you made me, so this is your up. All right, let's not try to turn this around on me. You know, you give me freedom of choice. You make whores. You have me suck at math, and you don't think this thing's gonna go off the rails? Like, you set me up to fail, dude. If I made a car, if I built a car and it didn't run, I wouldn't like burn it forever. You evil piece of shit, light it on fire. I wouldn't. I would troubleshoot. Is there gas in the engine? Is the battery charged? Anything beyond this, I got to get a real man to look at it. But I believe in you. Let's try and help you out.
I got these pants at the Goodwill. You ever shop at the Goodwill? I got these at the Goodwill, and I come home, my wife goes, "Where'd you get them pants? I thought I took them up to the Goodwill." You believe that? I've bought these 3 times this year. You believe that? The hell?
How do I know you are blind?
Do you see that sign?
Yes. Yes, I see it.
I don't see it.
Let's face it, English is a stupid language, because if we examine the paradoxes, we find that there's no egg in eggplant, no ham in hamburger, there's no pine or apple in pineapple, English muffins were not invented in England, French fries were not invented in France, quicksand takes you down slowly, boxing rings are square, a guinea pig is neither from Guinea or a pig, if writers write, how come fingers don't think? If the teacher's taught, why didn't the preacher prot? If the plural of tooth is teeth, why isn't the plural of phone booth phone beef? If a vegetarian eats vegetables, what the hell does a humanitarian eat? Why do we recycle fight at a play, but play at a recital. Park on driveways and drive on parkways. A house is burning up as it burns down, and you fill out a form by filling it in.
True. You know, you know.
You know, back in the days of vaudeville, vaudevillians trying to get bookings, and even young ones trying to break into the show business, would go into an empty theater, and there'd be an agent sitting out there in about the third row, all alone in the theater, cigar in his mouth, wearing a check suit, and the vaudevillian would have to show his wares to this cynic. One day a young fella came in, the agent was sitting out there, and this young fella wanted to break into show business, walked down to the stage. The agent said, "All right, kid, what do you do?" And the kid never answered. He just took off and flew around the ceiling of the theater, made a couple of circles right up there at the top, and then zoomed down and stopped right in front of the agent. The agent took the cigar out of his mouth and says, "What else do you do besides bird imitations?"
Let me say this. I've been thinking about this too. Father's Day is the worst holiday in the world. I've done the research. I already know. Let me tell you something. Mother's Day is the second most celebrated holiday in the world. Christmas is first. So that means it's Jesus, then your mama. You know what Father's Day fall at? Number 20. I can't think of 18 other holidays. Do you realize Halloween is number 6? So that means ghosts and goblins go before fathers? Arbor Day is number 13. I don't even know what that is. I just know it come before me. That's crazy. Columbus Day is number 16. Celebrating Columbus Day is like celebrating somebody finding money in your house. Where you get that $50 from? I discovered it in your kitchen. Ridiculous. Fathers, and it's mother's fault. It's mother's fault. Because see, when Mother's Day come around, fathers go in their pocket deep. Hey, I want to get my mama something. You cash that money out. You know what mothers do? Hey, I want to get daddy something. Well, go in that car. It's some change in my little cup holder in there. Don't nobody even have a sale for Father's Day. Who has a Father's Day sale? Mother's Day sale is like 30 of them. Everybody have Mother's Day sale. Don't nobody have no Father's Day sale. Who has Father's Day sale? The dollar store. That's how you get water hose and jumper cables for fathers. And the stores know this, because now the store got a little trick for fathers. They make little packages where a little box give you suspenders, socks, and a shirt. One box. And you know what kids do? They give you that stuff throughout the year. They give you that shirt for Father's Day, them socks for your birthday, and then they just randomly give you something else as, you know, they think about it. It's crazy. Father's Day sucks. And I'm a father. I did all this work to be a father for it to suck.
I've listened to Black Americans, and it's the most amazing use of the English language I've ever come across in my life. Because they pay no regard to punctuation whatsoever. It's cruise through sentences. It's fantastic. First time I had a conversation with a Black American man was in Baltimore, Maryland. This guy walked up to me after the show. He didn't even walk. He just floated in. He just came up to me and was like, "Hey, yo, B. Hey, yo, hey, yo. Hey, yo, let me holler at you for a minute, man. Let me holler at you." I said, "Okay." He's like, "Man, I ain't even gonna front, man. I ain't gonna front. I came out here, dude. I ain't even know who you was, man. I didn't even know. As I heard the show, I bought my girl. We was out there. You came out there. You were doing your thing. I was like, yo, man, I ain't even know they got them yellow bones out there in the motherland, man. I was like, yo, this kid better be funny, man. But I ain't gonna lie. You came out there. You was keeping it coming, keeping it moving. You was just beasting. I was like, all right, man. Maybe this kid is the truth. Yeah, this kid was doing his thing. He was keeping it out there. I started laughing. My girl was killing herself. I was like, all right, this mofo got flow for show. You know what I mean? And I was like, no, I don't. But I love it. It's the most amazing use of English I've ever come across in my life. Just that one word alone. Just the strength of that. Nah, mean. Do you know what I mean? You nah, mean. It just... It sums it all up, doesn't it? It's just, you know, neither question nor statement. It's just, like, why have we been wasting our time with syllables for so long? I don't understand. It was a crazy day today, you know what I mean? Yo, that shit was crazy, you know what I mean? It just flows, it's magical. It says it all. I feel like I've wasted years of my life without Namin. I wish I could go back in time and relive my favorite moments, watch my favorite movies again, seeing them bring to life. This is Sparta! Namin! Power. Just give it something, you know? I want to take that word home with me, home to Africa. I hope and I pray that someday I have a daughter, just so I may name her Namin, you know? No, because it sounds exotic and foreign. It has that thing to it. You'd be like, Trevor, who's that? Oh, this? Oh, it's my baby girl, Namin. It just has it, you know? It's wonderful. Let's go back. I bet even greats like Shakespeare would have loved to use that word. They say he invented more words than anyone, but Namin, oh, I bet he's in his grave going, I wish I had. You can see it on one of those great plays on the stages of Manchester and London. Theatre actors just walking out there with their big collars. Ah, yes, Prometheus, and hither doth he come. Why, I am the son of a humble thespian. Namin.
Imagine if marriage didn't exist, and you're a guy and you ask a woman to get married. Imagine what that conversation would be like. You'd be like, hey, so, you know, we've been hanging out together all the time, spending a lot of time together and everything. Yeah, I know. I want to keep doing that till you're dead. What? I want to keep hanging out with you till one of us dies.
I was in a hotel having breakfast and the waiter said to me, he said, you want white or brown toast? I said, all toast is brown. You're thinking of bread. He said, what room are you in? I said, it's the dining room.
Sounds sexist, but women are an absolute disaster and a menace to society. Hear me out. Every time a woman runs for president, Donald Trump ends up leader of the free world. Just saying, ladies, maybe politics isn't for you.
You know, you know.
Are you kidding me? It's the middle of the night.
My Hut, der hat.
Or if you guys, it may not have been clear that was Opa submitting please excuse my sense of humors. I added some into my please excuse, which I never do. I only did it for him. But I was trying to find the right video to, you know, I was trying to look through my feed and I saw that in my Google Drive and it was like perfect. So I created a please excuse Opa sense of humor because that's probably what it would have ended up, you know, moving towards, I think. But yeah, he's my best friend, one of my best friends. So that was an honor, Bopa, you know, and he's still, I mean, there's no escaping his presence. So rest in peace, Opa.
Yeah, we're gonna miss him a lot. He really made this show what it is, and oh man, thank you, Opa, for all you did for us over the years. And yeah, gonna miss him.
Yep. Well, guys, thank you for watching episode 162 Skiba News Nation, and we'll see you guys Sunday. So, adios, amigos. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Adios.
and a special comedy night with the headliner, Sam Tripoli. You are not alone. November 7th and November 8th. Get your tickets at truthercon.com.
Like what we do here on Skiba News Nation, please like and subscribe, and also share with others so we can grow the biggest truth-seeking community on the internet. Huge shout out to all of our Patreons out there. If you like bonus content, you want some extra Skiba News Nation stuff, please go to patreon.com/Skiba News Nation.
Son of the legendary Ross Jeremiah Skiba.
It's like I don't even want to wake up.